Could you benefit from building supreme confidence? What would change for you if you played your best when under pressure? What's it costing you to not have the confidence, the poise, and skill to execute when your team needs you most? I've created an exclusive training video designed just for you. I outline the 3 critical keys to building unshakable supreme confidence and dominating under pressure. You'll also find out how you can apply these to your career today so that you can start to speed up your results and follow a predictable system to get you to your goals. Go to IMNOTYOU.com/dominate under pressure. You can go ahead and access that free training in less than 2 minutes. You'll be learning exactly what I teach my high performance professional athletes and clients about what it takes to dominate. Again, IMNOTYOU.com/dominate under pressure.
If you try to get right, then you listen to my dad. He's a beast. And if you don't want to listen to him, okay, you don't want to get successful. If you ain't trying to dominate, man, then go listen to something else.
Welcome, athletes, top performers, and all those looking to gain that killer instinct, that edge you need to dominate in any environment. This is the Sports Motivation Podcast, and I'm your host, Niyi Sobo. I played ball and succeeded at the highest levels, and I'm now committed to showing you how you can accomplish the ambitious goals and visions that you have. This podcast is designed to teach you high-level strategy, not just fluff and hype. This will cut to the core if you let it. And by taking action on the practical and next-level advice I share, you will see results. Expect that. Expect to be more confident. Expect to be more focused. Expect to be more decisive. And expect to be more fearless. Expect to become the leader your vision needs you to become. So listen up. Take notes. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Sports Motivation Podcast. It's your host, Niyi Sobo. Today I'm coming with it, so please get your pen and your paper out because I'm going to be speaking about some groundbreaking habits. Or pause that. I'm going to be speaking about some habits that are not groundbreaking, that are groundbreaking and earth-shattering in the opposite way, meaning habits that will absolutely kill your progress, habits that will destroy your ability to accomplish at a high level. Habits that will habitually keep you frustrated. Habits that will ensure that you stay amongst the working class. And by the working class, I'm talking about the average. I'm not just talking about, money you make or anything like that. I'm talking about if you want to guarantee that you stay average, make sure that you do these habits, all right? Now, if you want to make sure to dominate, then these are the habits that you got to destroy, that you have to root out ruthlessly, all right? But before we get into it, I want to remind you, I have created a second podcast, Get Your Mind Right, Sports Motivation Podcast, all right? So Get Your Mind Right Motivation Podcast. Go to iTunes, search for it. Just put Get Your Mind Right, not Your Mind Right, YA. Search for Niyi Sobo. You'll see it, all right? Make sure you go check it out. It's nothing but Get Your Mind Right podcast episodes, back to back to back. Virtually no advertisements, nothing, just straight up heat, back to back to back. All right, we release 2 a week, so check that out. Also, I've been getting people asking me this over and over, and I finally have done it. Shout out to Sean Haley, who's helping me with this, my guy, putting all the episodes on YouTube, all right? So we're going to be slowly dripping out, not slowly, pretty aggressively, actually. I think we have about 10 episodes that are on YouTube now. So if you go to my YouTube channel, Niyi Sobo, you will see that all the episodes are now on YouTube. So it's just another way for you to enjoy the content. And we're going to keep rocking, all right? So go check that out. Make sure you subscribe, all of that. So we're going to be talking about habits that will virtually destroy your ability to achieve at a high level. Now, the reason why I came up with this episode, it's been kind of like weighing on me for a while. And let me tell you why. So, you know that I work with a lot of athletes. I mean, this year has been pretty cool for me. I got some trips that are coming up where I'm going to be speaking of hundreds of athletes, working with hundreds of athletes at a time, helping to install some of these systems, habits, mindset shifts that are going to help them dominate their sport. And not just athletes. I've been working with companies, been working with my one-on-one clients. I see a lot of people. And the funny thing about it is that no matter if you're an athlete or not, it feels like there are these trends that I see. And they're trends because they go across all different categories. All types of people have these things, these same habits, these same, tendencies. And not only that, they're not just one-off type actions. They're things that people habitually do over and over. And it's not just people. It's also myself. I look back at my past. I look at back even right now, habits that I have that potentially hold me back from making the progress that I want to make. I look at my family, my wife, my kids, my friends, my close family. These are habits that plague people that are like honestly that I feel must be rooted out if you are to be elite. And that's what you want to do, right? That's what you said you want to do. That's why you're listening to this. So I'm going to break down each one of these habits and give you some evidence of what it looks like if you have this, and hopefully get you, not hopefully, you must be thinking about how you're going to root these out, all right? So let's go. Let's start with number one. The first habit that I notice a lot is those people who defend themselves frequently, all right? Defending yourself. That means when someone gives you a suggestion, gives you criticism, gives you feedback, gives you an idea, you are quick to defend yourself. And what I mean by that is you always are giving reasons for why that is. So if a coach tells you that you need to get in better shape, you're gonna start talking about how you already are in shape, or you just had a rough day, or whatever you would say. If your family, somebody got a problem with you, you're quick to talk about why that is, or why they're the problem, right? Defending yourself, getting out your sword so as to prevent the attack. You look at everything like an attack. This is a habit that will kill you. When you get any sort of feedback, any sort of criticism, any sort of feedback at all, you want to use it. And this is not easy. Trust me. That's why so many people have this habit. And that's also why so many people don't make progress. So I'm telling you, because if you are the type of person who's always defending yourself, who's always making up some reason for why you have what you have, always quickly replying to people who give you feedback, criticism, whatever you want to call it, use it. And if it doesn't make sense for you, then throw it out. But don't defend. Listen, all right? Which leads me to my next habit. Those people who talk too much. I was actually at dinner, this was like a few weeks ago, and I was with a large group of people. And you know what's funny is a lot of times the people who are the most ignorant seem to talk the most. And they seem to have the most ideas, and they seem to be the most presumptuous. They seem to be the most opinionated. Where the opposite is true of those who are the smartest, those who are the most intelligent, those who are the most successful. They seem to listen more. They seem to ask more questions. And they seem to be more genuinely curious about things as opposed to offering opinions. If you don't believe me, just go on your Facebook feed and watch all the people who are always offering their opinions. And these are not thought leaders. These are not people who people are following to listen to. These are people who are simply talking too much. I would ask you to honestly evaluate yourself right now and ask yourself, do I talk too much? Am I the person in a group who's always offering my opinions with very little education behind them, very little knowledge or awareness? Because what you don't realize is that people are looking at you and they think you're a fool. Don't talk too much. Listen more. Next habit. This is a killer. Deciding on whether or not you're going to act or not based on your feelings. So basically, it's making a decision about whether or not to take action based on how you feel. Now, I've talked a lot about beliefs lead to emotions, emotions lead to actions, actions lead to results. So you might be thinking, what do you mean? Emotions lead to action. So in order for me to act, I've got to feel the right emotion. Now, that's true to a certain degree, right? But what affects your emotions? One of the biggest components of emotion is your physical body, like how you move. And so a lot of the times when we move, let's say we're not feeling like we want to do a workout, for example. Let's say you have hill sprints and you don't feel like doing hill sprints. So you say, I don't feel like it. Well, one of the biggest things you can do to change how you feel is start moving. So get in the car and drive, put on your workout clothes, make some sort of momentum. But a lot of us decide on whether or not we're going to do something based on how we feel. Oh, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like reading. I don't feel like waking up. What if what you feel like right now doesn't matter at all? What if you're never really going to feel like it? What if waking up at 5 a.m. to do a workout always is going to suck? And as long as you keep deciding based on how you feel, you're never going to make progress. Think about that, all right? Those who are lazy, those who never get it in life, those who never make progress in their sport, those who never get what it is that they want, those who don't reach their goals, they wait for how they feel. Because one thing's for sure, there is no growth without some form of discomfort or pain. There is none. So you will feel painful. You will feel distress. You will feel overwhelmed. You will feel frustrated. My clients know when they tell me they're overwhelmed, I clap. I'm happy. Good. Overwhelm is good. You should be overwhelmed. Now it's time to expand. Now it's time to grow. But don't wait. The next habit that will kill your progress, this is a promise, is if you forego action because there's no visible results. So what do I mean by that? Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. You're trying to accomplish a goal. You have a particular results that you're going after, and you're not seeing the results right away. And because you're not seeing them, you stop doing what it takes to get it. Imagine a farmer going out to plant a seed. He's watering it. It's not sprouting right when he thinks it should. And so he stops watering it. He stops tending to his garden. How dumb is that farmer? I heard something about, I think it's bamboo. It won't grow for a long time, and all of a sudden it sprouts. So if you stop tending to it, if you stop doing what's necessary in order to accomplish the goal, you could be that close. I know you probably seen the picture on the internet floating around. It's the two guys digging after the gold. I think it's diamonds or something. One of them stops like literally an inch before he gets there. Stops. The other one keeps going, and he's got the gold. He would have got it if he just kept going. You might need to just make yourself more aware about the process and what it looks like. And how do you do that? Go find someone who's done what it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to lose weight and you lose a bunch of weight in the beginning and then your results start to plateau, you should go find someone who's done that before, because what they'll tell you is that's exactly what happens. Stay the course. Keep working out. Keep trimming those calories. Keep making sure you drink enough water. You might even gain a couple pounds. Just keep doing it. Stay on track. But you won't have that if you don't educate yourself. All right? So don't forego on action because there's no visible results. Set the goal. Ignore the results. Do what must be done. And then systematically look at the results and compare, right? To make sure that you're on the right track. But many of us focus on the results way too much. The next thing I see a lot from people, especially a lot of younger athletes, not even younger athletes, honestly, older people, man. And this is one that's annoying to see, quite honestly, and one that if I ever partake in this type of behavior, I wish that someone would point this out to me. This is not a good one. Promoting yourself, going out of your way to promote yourself just to gain some sort of artificial confidence boost. So seeking validation from other people. One of the biggest ways we see this is people on social media posting all these different things, trying to get people to validate them. Now, I'm not saying there's something inherently wrong in this, but let's be honest. Why are you really doing that? Honestly, why are you going out of your way to put yourself on blast in that sort of way? Meaning promote yourself in that sort of way. These are usually the people who lack the confidence that they act like they have. They're looking to get it from other people. So if you're one of those people, I suggest you stop doing that and start focusing on talking to yourself in the right way. Start building some legitimate confidence. And I don't mean you can't share your wins with your friends. I don't mean something's bad with posting a picture on Facebook and talking about how you won the game or won the championship. But ask yourself honestly, why are you doing it? Are you really insecure? If you are, you need to get back to the drawing board and start developing some legit confidence on your own. And I have several episodes on that you should check out. But promoting yourself simply just for a confidence boost is no bueno. It's a bad habit. You're wasting time, because that's also reinforcing this idea that confidence comes from the outside. Confidence comes from how many likes you get. Confidence comes from how your coach talks to you. Confidence comes from, how many awards you get. That shit don't matter. Those things will come with the real confidence. They will come as side effects of legitimate confidence, all right? Now, again, this next habit sort of goes into some things that I've been talking about so far, but it's passively going on social media. So that means going on social media with no real objectives, no real goals that you're trying to accomplish. Now, if you have a company, if you have a brand, if you have some sort of obvious goals that you're trying to accomplish, or some sort of reputation you're trying to establish online, that's another thing. And if you're doing that, have a strategy, all right? Otherwise, you're wasting your time. But what I will say is that there's a lot of you who are going on social media and are addicted to social media, and you have no purpose on there whatsoever. And the reason why I can talk about this so confidently is because I do have a brand and I do have business on social media. But even I get caught up on social media. It's addicting. It's dangerous. There's something dangerous about it. It's just like television. It's just like fast food. It's just like candy. And they know this. That's why it's several billion dollar industry. Shoot, maybe even trillions. I don't know. Just Facebook alone. Because they feed on the need of this significance factor for human beings. So if you're going on there passively with no agenda, limit yourself. Stop doing that. Delete the app. Go on a fast. I would argue some of you don't even need to be on there, quite frankly. It's not helping you. What's your goals on there? Do you have any? If not, let it go. Like Carly Lloyd says, it's either helping you or it's hurting you. It's that simple. It's that black and white. The next habit that is deadly and very insidious and it's very tricky, because this is one that I fall victim to a lot. And if you're not careful, it can become such a bad habit that it becomes a part of who you are. And it becomes harder and harder to realize, because it's just a part of who you are. And that's rationalizing small thinking, all right? So here's what I mean. You have some things that you want. You have some things that you want to do, things you want to accomplish. And the reality is that most of us live in a very limited environment, meaning we're not around a lot of people who dream big, who think big, who do big things. We're just not. It's just a fact. Only 2% of the population is really getting it at a high level. So that's not around us in our natural environment. And so if you don't read, if you're not hanging around these people, it's going to be very easy to think small. Very easy. And by small, I mean very limiting. Setting moderate goals, setting, reasonable goals. And you'll start to rationalize that. You'll start to say, well, I should probably just wait a little bit for that. It's probably best that I, not try to, move too fast. It's probably best that I sort of, aim small and just gain confidence, And you will start to rationalize that. And it's dangerous, because then you get with a person like me, and that's what I see with my clients. They're all frustrated about the lack of results, and I ask them what their goals have been. I challenge them to think big, and they're scared. But when they do that, they set the aggressive outcomes. They put themselves through the fire. We face reality. We systematically raise the standard. Then all of a sudden, big bursts of results come. Then all of a sudden, they're moving fast. Then all of a sudden, there's more momentum. Now, maybe they didn't reach the big goal that they set, but what happened in the process of setting that big goal is they raised the standard for themselves. They challenged themselves. So don't get caught up in small thinking. It will kill you, all right? The next bad habit is being the smartest one in your group. And you can cross out smartest and say fastest, strongest, most talented. This is hanging around people who are, not as good as you. And it's so easy to do, isn't it? Especially if you got talent. Especially if you're good. It feels good to be the smartest one in the group, doesn't it? It feels good to be the most successful. It feels good to be the most wealthy. It feels good to be the strongest, the fastest. But guess what? You're never going to grow in that environment. Never. So I'm not saying don't hang out with people who are, not as good as you. Help them out. Hang out with them. Find value in it. But you must also put yourself around people who are going to challenge you, who are going to make you grow, who are going to make you feel insecure, who are going to make you feel small, because that discomfort is what's going to help you grow. The next habit, this is one that I find with my children that actually makes me the most upset, quite frankly, is the habit of saying I know. So let me ask you something. When you listen to this podcast, chances are you probably listen to episode after episode. Do you find yourself saying, yep, I know, he talked about that before, I know? When you read a book, do you say, I don't need to read this book again, I already read that book? When you get corrected on something, do you say, I know? When your coach points out to you that you need to make a better burst on your left step, or you need to, get lower, do you say, I know? Because the reality is you don't know. You'll never know because you're on the way to mastery. And those who are masters understand this. Those who are masters can do the same things over and over and learn something new every single time. And they don't say, I know, because they know that they don't. So if you are in the habit of saying, I know, and that's a mindset, really, if you have the mindset of always acting like you know everything or you know the right thing to do, that's a bad habit. And when I say you know the right thing to do, I'm not asking you to question yourself at every point. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the mentality of the know-it-all, who doesn't accept teaching, who doesn't challenge himself to grow, who doesn't look at the same material and find some way to grow from it, no matter how many times they've read it. I got books I've read 10 times not in a row. I've got books that I've read 10 times over, and I always get something new from it every single time I read it. Do not say I know. The next habit, which is going to sound like it's in direct contradiction to the last, but it's not, and I'm going to explain, is saying I don't know. All right? Here's what I mean by this. A few days ago, I had my son take out the recycling, right? My son is 11. I had him take out the recycling, and we had a lot of boxes. I think we had bought a bunch of stuff on like Amazon or something. We do like every month, we buy all of our cleaning supplies, toilet paper, toothpaste, whatever, all that stuff on Amazon once a month. And it's a gang of boxes, right? So we got to break them down. And this particular day, I told my son to put out the recycling, and I went out there, and he had done it, but there was boxes and plastic that had fallen out, right? And so I didn't want to overreact. I said, all right, I went to go get my son. I was like, son, what's going on here? Are you done? And he's like, well, there's boxes all over the floor. Like they didn't stay in the recycling bin. And he's like, well, I put them in there. I was like, well, they're not in there now. So what should you do? He's like, well, I don't know. I looked at him. You don't know? He's like, well, I already put them in there. I'm saying, well, what do you mean? What should you do? And he said, I don't know. And there are certain things, every parent has certain things that get them fired up. And I've got my own. This is one of those things for me. Because one of the things that I talk about with my kids all the time is being a lion in the jungle. And that means being self-reliant. That means being creative. That means being resourceful. That means figuring out solutions to your problems. Not being helpless, not waiting for everybody to do things for you. And so when my son was saying, I don't know, what he was really saying is, I can't figure out this problem, and I'm not even going to try. I tried one thing, and because it didn't work, I no longer have a solution for this problem. Of course, I made him attack the problem in a different way. We got it figured out, but my point is this. Many times we try to go after goals. We have things that we're trying to accomplish, and we come into roadblocks. We say, there's this challenge in front of us. And our tendency is to say, I don't know what to do about this. Our tendency is to get passive and to shrink in front of the challenge. This is a horrible habit. This is a habit of the helpless. This is a habit of the meek. This is a habit of the weak. You are not that. You must attack challenges and goals. You must attack problems. Do like Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. In his book, what's it called? The Everything Store. He talked about Jeff Bezos has this idea that you can innovate your way out of any problem. Any problem you can innovate your way out of. You can find a way. Somehow, some way. You can find a way. So saying I don't know, having that helpless mentality is going to get you into a lot of trouble. So I want you to think about all these habits we just talked about. Defending yourself, talking too much, waiting to do something based on how you feel, not taking action because there's no visible results, promoting yourself, passively going on social media, rationalizing small thinking, being the smartest one in the group, saying I know, saying I don't know. Which of these are you guilty of? I know there's one. There's got to be at least one. Which of these are you guilty of? And in what ways are you guilty of it? I want you to think specifically, what do you do? What does it look like for you? And now I want you to come up with a game plan. What is your plan of attack for how to crush this habit? And what are you going to replace it with? So instead of deciding on action based on how you feel, every time you got something that you need to do, you just do one small thing towards it to gain some momentum. Maybe instead of promoting yourself to gain confidence from others, to validate yourself, maybe you start writing down in your journal every day 10 reasons why you deserve to feel confident. Maybe you start focusing on building some internal confidence. Instead of saying, I don't know when a problem comes up, maybe you say, let me see. Maybe you say, let me write down all my ideas for what I could possibly do. What if you say, I don't know, but I'm going to find out? Instead of talking too much, maybe you're going to ask more questions. Maybe you're going to listen more. Think about it. Your habits, what you do consistently is going to lead to what you get. And when your action becomes a habit, it becomes locked in. It becomes automatic. So you need to make sure that the things that become automatic are actions that are going to benefit you long term. All right? So let's keep going, man. It's almost, we're coming into the second quarter of the year. And I know you set some goals for this year. I know you have some outcomes that you really want to achieve. And I can guarantee that you've had some obstacles along the way. Now is the time we start digging deep. Now is the time we start looking at what we do on a micro level. Now is the time we start doing, like if you're on a football team, you start breaking down film and you start looking at your blocking techniques, which side of of your defender your helmet is on. We start looking at the mic on the micro level. Start getting better every single day, because that's what we do. Get better every single day. All right? So identify the habit, identify what it looks for you, and come up with a game plan. Let's keep moving. All right? Remember, check out the Get Your Mind Right podcast. Check me out on YouTube. All the episodes are going to be on there. Another way for you to listen. Let's keep rocking. All right, let's go. I love you. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Sports Motivation Podcast. Make sure if you dig in the podcast, go and subscribe so you can always get the latest episodes. I come out with a new episode twice a week on Tuesday and Friday at 3 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you go ahead and rate it and leave me a good review. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon. Much love. One of the most common questions I get from athletes all the time is this: what is the single best thing I can do to reach my goals? How can I set myself apart from everybody else? Obviously, there are a lot of things, but the one thing that's helped set me apart was having a coach, a mentor, someone to show me the right strategies and how I need to do things specifically to achieve my results. So you could try to do it on your own, but you'll end up making many mistakes that could have been avoided if you had someone guiding you and coaching you along the way. 99% of athletes in the world have expert coaches to show them the things that they can't see. If you want to work with me as your coach, I want you to go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC and learn more and sign up for a free coaching session. I'll give you 60 minutes of my time for free, and I can teach you some dynamic strategies, plus show you how you can secure me as your sports results coach. All I ask is that you fit in this criteria. You're serious about your sport, you're willing to invest the time and money, and you have clear goals of taking your game to the next level, or some sort of specific results you want to achieve. This is definitely not for everyone, and I have very limited spots available for this. So, if this applies to you, I want you to take action. Go to IMNOTYOU.com/SRC, and I guarantee you're going to take your game and your career to the next level.